Yeah, as Anton said, I will talk about some, I don't know, it could be actions, it could be some points you should think about. And depending on your experience, some of these things you probably met, or some you may avoid in your future life. But before I will talk about these 10 worst pieces of advice, I want to mention that all these things are based on my own experience, my personal biases. And if I'm talking about these things, so I met them, and maybe there are more for you to think about. And maybe some of these I don't know, actions you do in your life, and maybe you can fix them. um, a little bit about myself. I'm calling myself like Skywalker in providing quality IT products, as I'm working in quality assurance for more than 10 years, and more than 9 years of working outsource, and I work on different kind of projects, starting from mobile testing to desktop testing, web testing, all kind of software. Also, starting from I don't know, maybe the last 6 years, I mentor different QAs and make them be a professional QAs in IT. And also, I'm musical amateur and DJ. So sometimes you may see me doing hour, with this stuff. All right. Here's some points where you can meet me, when you contact me, when you can ask questions, where you can, I don't know, tell me when I was wrong. In all social media platforms, also in LinkedIn, the same, Artem Grygorenko, you can find me as well. You can make any screenshot, you can make photos, and you can post, tag me, and we will have a great discussion later in social media. Before we start, I like to use different cats, small cats, funny cats in my presentation. So just sit back, relax, take your tea or coffee, and enjoy the talk. Actually, we have a pretty straightforward and simple agenda. Yeah, I'll talk about 10 worst pieces of advice for software testing that I'll explain one by one. With also, I will add my thoughts with impact. So how this kind of behavior impacts overall the business, overall the software development process, or any kind of stuff. All right, I think we can start with the first one. Never create bug reports. I think a lot of us pretty lazy people. We don't like bugs. Actually, some of you may say, oh yeah, I like the bugs. I love to find them. I like to, I don't know, explore the application and some kind of things. But we usually don't like report bugs. We don't like to create issue in Jira. We like to, I'll go to the Slack, open my developer who create this feature, and say to him, okay, bro, this feature doesn't work. You need to fix it as soon as possible and deploy it. And then you will go with the same behavioral once again, and how it impacts us in the future in this development. When you don't create bug reports, you can reflect on them. You can learn from your mistakes. It's not about like for you as software tester, it's more about the people, it's more about the manager, developer, and any other people around you. So you can't analyze your bugs. You can't make, I don't know, clusterization of your bugs. You can't understand what kind of bugs you find. You just report bugs in Slack channel for your developer, and maybe sometimes you go to his table and tell him, okay, bro, again, too many bugs like this. You can you fix it, this? All right. And the next time you will make your time to market longer, or maybe the same, because you don't learn from your mistakes. Okay. The second, automate everything. All right. I think we should stop thinking about budgets and return of investments. It's just an extra time, waste of our time. And in general, we think the automation is cool. Yeah, this is our points. But sometimes automation is not what we're looking for current moment. We can't automate everything. Okay, how you can automate user experience testing? I think there are no points how you can automate. So we think before we start automate like tests or any other checks, let's think about how we can do it. Is it worth it? Do we need to do it? And always we're thinking that, okay, I will automate, I will do it right now, and everything will be clear, and so on, so on. And there will be one point when you can understand that for maintaining all the cases you wrote, you need to spend more time than they launch it. Like, then you, I don't know, then you just manually check all other things. So in this point, you understand that you will waste a lot of time for automation, but there are no any pros for you. Maybe some. Let's go for short one. Never write test reports. All right, we test this feature and we think it's okay. I just write to my manager or, that everything is okay, and we can deploy it. And now maybe another QA changed. Another new QA comes to your team, maybe manager, new manager, and anyone. How you can understand what have been tested? What kind of test reports? What? So if there are no information, how you can understand what we need to do further? And in the future, it leads to not effective risk management. This is one main issue that leads if we are not writing or making any kind of test reports. So we can't reflect how we work, how we test, what kind of issue we met, where we should focus on before our new release or whatever. So in the end of all of these actions or behaviorals, your release can be really low quality. The next one, the fourth, it's also important, but I know that a lot of people write test documentation, different kind of test documentation. And I want to mention once more this really important part in our QA life. So we're supposed to know what we test and how we test. And you know, in In football, there is such phrase like, show me your midfields and I can tell you what kind this team is, good or bad. The same is here. I'm coming to project, show me your test documentation and I can tell you if your product with good quality or bad quality. And also, for me, especially, the test documentation is the main knowledge base of the project, because in this test documentation, I can understand how this product works, what is the main feature, how this supports to work, how we proceed with all this, I don't know, information. And also, in my experience, I'm always using approach like, when newcomer come into my team, okay, this is regression test, and you need to launch it, run it, and you will learn a lot about our application. But it works if it's updated, if it's high quality, and you write it, of course. Okay, the fifth one. Work without any plan. You know, when you don't have any plans, you just make something. And when you make something, you will reach something. So you don't know where you are going. Okay, you can tell that, all right, I'm for a long time in this product. I know everything. I know what I should do. I know what I have to do in this sprint, in the future sprint. But what I want to achieve, how I will achieve this, how we achieve this, I don't know, kind of quality. So this is time to think. And maybe sometimes you will did wrong things because you didn't have a plan. You just did something. And this something could be from one part, another part, here, and they are not connected to each other. So they will not lead you to success. And you shouldn't be surprised. All right. This is halfway from the end, and it's time to see this beautiful cat. And I hope you're not so tired, because actually I think I'm pretty fast in these points. And let's go. 6. Always complain that developers don't know how to write code. A lot of times I saw it. You go to the coffee, talk with your, I don't know, colleague, QA colleague, and oh, this guy making bad software, a lot of bugs in his implementation, his feature. And you talk to him, you talk to your colleague. And, you know, when you talk like this, your team, I guess, lack of empathy and collaboration. You're making software together. If he make mistakes, maybe it's team issues. So you need to discuss it on retro, but not blame your developers. They're also your colleagues. Understand, please, them. You need to understand them. Okay. Also, one of important things, do not read books. You already know everything. We also always in some time made this kind of point when we think we know everything. Like, all right, I have 1 or 2 years experience of software testing. I'm good QA. I know everything. I know how to test these kind of things. I'm testing good. and I know I'm superhero. And when you change your company sometimes, or going to interview, and when you come back to your home and you sit like, okay, I think I should learn something, but maybe too late. But anyway, my point is this: many new tools every year launched, many approaches you can look, search, and learn from a lot of different professionals in the software quality. So the learning path, it's continuous path. You need to do it continuously, never stop. And more important, the testing is still young science. So, and when you learn, this allows you to test the product better and faster. All right, another point, do not learn about the business. This is the work of BAs and PMs. We tend to technologies, as we are technology guys. We tend to learn different tools, approaches. We learn to different technologies, how to work with them. But how many of us understand how business work, business of application? I mean, where this product uses, who are our customers? Who are they? And I think you shouldn't be surprised when once upon a time your application will lead you to millions in losses because you missed the bug in business logic. And it can be like this. And I didn't tell you, you know. So learn your business, learn the business where your application works. Understand your customers, your end users. All right. Now, if developers said there's nothing to test there, then there is no need to test. All right. This is interesting part. Personally, I'm really a naive person and I really trust people, but I really don't trust developers. And I think it's really important because actually it's our job to find some interesting places and interesting things, interesting bugs that developers can't find because of our mind or something like that. But it's not about the trust, it's about our job, and it's about our curiosity. It's about our skills, because we're skilled and we understand how we should test it. Sometimes developers, it's more about technology, and as we software tester, we was previous about the business. So we are here with business and with technologies. We're in the middle and we understand how these things should be connected. And critical thinking is what separates a tester from a developer the most. Yep. And I think this is the last I want to mention. We are not so curiosity about what happened in our application, and we are lazy to investigate some issues. So the one bad behavioral that I can suggest is don't analyze the logs, just waste your time. We found the bug. What next? What we should next? Some of you just go to the Jira, create Jira issue and talk to the developers. Okay, create this bug. You should go and check it. and fix it and analyze it and localize it and understand where is it and so on, so on, so on. And in general, a send packet does not mean that it was perceived on another side of the system. And if you receive just the answer 20, okay, it does not mean that everything is fine. It just sent, but not proceeded on another side. And when you create tickets, try to analyze what is this ticket about. The best ticket, best bug you can write, it's almost, it's the best, like, I don't know, like a ghost. You can specify in which line of code the bug arises. But it's more for advanced person, for advanced quality assurance engineer who knows everything, almost everything about their software, about what they're doing, about anything like that. But if you can do it, it means that you're a really good QA and you really understand how your application works, how it proceeds, what components, how they connect it with each other. But don't be lazy, localize it. Make simple work. I mean, not simple work for your developers, but make it simpler. Help them to save their time. Sometimes you can do it faster than developers do. Because when you create an issue and tell that something's wrong, there are a lot of different questions arise that you could answer in your ticket, but you didn't do it. So what developer doing, he did the hidden part that in your brain. So you can put all this information in your Jira ticket. And I guess that's it. Thank you. My speech is end, and I guess I can answer the question. Maybe some of this behavioral you met in your life, we can discuss it.
Thank you, Artem. It was a great introduction how to make scenes in tester's life, and I would say that I'm doing a lot of your things as a professional engineer also. So thank you very much. I just want to reiterate, if anybody wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself and ask it, or you can write it down in our Zoom chat. First question will be from my side. What do you think, what is the worst scene QA engineer can make in everyday life? The worst.
The worst.
Maybe not from this. Yes.
The first
maybe
one.
not for the first one.
Yes, the first one. This is never create bug reports. Like in our life, if we take like not QAs, but our personal life, we learn from our mistake. But we need to learn. How we can learn is the point. In software development, we create different artifacts, and bug reports is the first artifacts, because our job, most of software testing, to find bugs. When we find bugs, we need to report them, we need to create them, we need to work with them, we need to reflect on them. So we learn a lot about this. And then it helps us in the future, because we learn from this mistake, we understand what kind of mistake we did, and we don't do this mistake over and over again. And we don't, when we not creating bug reports, we don't learn from our mistakes. So we are kind of, on the same level always. So I think it's one not one, but most important actually for me, because I took a lot of efforts actually in personal
In your career?
in personal career, a lot of efforts to make good bug reports. Like really, I have another. I had another talk about how we can measure your test documentation. I mean, in kind of quality.
Mm-hmm. From my perspective, actually, we can even divide this first step, because one thing, it might be that QA engineer is hiding bugs, or it might be the second, like you're communicating bugs to developers. They even may say that, okay, no problem, I'll fix it. But that's it. There is no artifact that is visible for everyone. And I think this, like, both are not so good practices, but from my experience, the second one is more common, but at the same time, you know, sometimes if you find something like very tiny, minor thing, you are thinking that telling this bug is 1 minute, creating bug report about it is 10 minutes. So you may end up just pinging developer, like, fix it and we will move on. So
Okay.
how do you measure when
Okay.
it's time?
Yeah. And now it's time to measure our time. Okay, you spent 1 minute to talk to the developer. Developer, okay, I understand how to fix it. Okay, what he is doing? He fixing, he commit the code, he deploy the code. All these things, there, it takes time. And during testing, when you do like 3, 4, 5 times like this, you spend a lot of time on the same activities. Like, okay, understand where's the bug, fix the bug, deploy. And it seems like it takes 1, 2, 3 minutes, but in overall, it takes more time. When if you could have another approach. You find an issue, create a bug report, like, okay, you spent like this. Then you make a test report when you show, okay, guys, I found like this bugs, and the developer do all these kind of thing only once. I mean, as deployment, you know. So he make one commit for all these 5, I don't know, or 6 small bugs, one commit, one deployment, and then QA can recheck in
If I correctly
in one try.
understood you, you suggest just put every single small issue in the report. This report will be like an artifact, then developer fix all things in one shot, and then you will recheck it, right?
Yeah, if it's small, but it's supposed to be documented somehow. You know, when we talk about,
I agree with you.
Yeah, we can talk about next in the metrics. Yeah, at least the simple metrics, how many bugs we have, how many bugs we fixed. We can't measure it if we just write to the developer's chat. No one knows it, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I totally on your side. Just want to make, you know, like opposite views on the same question.
yeah. So it's about also, I want to mention that we always think about how much time we need to create something, but we don't think in further steps, like next steps, how we will maintain this. how we work on this. I have an example. We had an issue in our REST service. We found one issue in one API, and this issue, this bug, appears in each of endpoint. But it was like this. QA goes to one endpoint, check it. Okay, he found this bug. He didn't create an issue. He just wrote to the developer. And then it appears like 5 times and it's spread for, I don't know, the whole sprint. But the main point, the main fix was the same everywhere.
So each time developer fix something in one endpoint, QA finds another one.
No,
like that?
No, the bug was the same in all endpoints.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, and QA could create one bug report, investigate it, spend 15 minutes, and let
list
developer
down all the endpoints.
Yeah. And let developer fix it in one try, not 5 or 10 tries. And it was like the second, like this issue was found second time, I guess, after 1 or 2 sprints. So they check one endpoint, they found an issue, didn't investigate other endpoints. So this issue,
they created work for 2 people for several iterations.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Folks, do you want to ask questions, or I will ask another one? Please don't hesitate to unmute yourself, and maybe you want to, I don't know, to discuss some of those issues or suggestions. We are here to discuss, so don't be shy.
Yeah.
While we are waiting, I'd like to ask the question, maybe not regarding this talk, but as you mentioned, you are doing like part-time job as a mentor for newcomers, for new QA engineers. Imagine I'm a new engineer. How I can understand that I need some mentor, and what kind of questions should I ask to get this help? What you can suggest?
If you're new to QA, I don't know how you can understand that you need a mentor, but I guess in our life, everyone needs to have a mentor in different parts of their life, and the same here. Usually, in a lot of different companies, we have like different kind of mentorship programs. So when you join the team, the company, you will have for some companies it's buddy, for some companies it's mentor, but if we are talking about mentor, it's about the knowledge sharing. And the simple answer here, your mentor should ask questions. So first you need to understand this is hard questions. I don't know if you want to learn something new, you need to find someone who can share this knowledge. But you're supposed to have a clear goal. Like if you have no goals, so nobody can answer questions and help you to achieve your goal. So, I mean, sometimes people comes to me like, okay, I want to switch to IT, I want to become a QA and so on. And here I can ask different kind of questions, starting from when you want to achieve. Like, okay, is this supposed to be time bound? Do you, and then ask different kind of question. Do you understand that you need to learn hard? Do you understand all these things? And then if the person understands and really wants, it's a simple way to work. I create for them individual development plans. So it's plan that help them to achieve what they want. So it's a usual artifact that I create for my mentees, and he just followed this document, and all these points they're mentioned in SMART. So the clear goal, the path, how they will achieve it, how we can measure it, and then we will mention the result.
Do you mentor anybody, or you have some kind of filter to understand the motivation, to understand, like person is really can achieve it, or it's just some news on internet how to get things done without working?
Yeah, this is a good question, and most of the person who doesn't want to achieve their goals in IT, they just ask for some easy advices and no further steps. And the person now I don't looking actively for mentees because they come to me, and I know a lot of person who just learning from nothing and they come up to mentor. And it doesn't matter if they come up to me or another mentor. I think it's already good point that they understand that they need to mentor. And I guess the more important for me when the experienced person come to me. Like if the guy already have some experience in quality assurance and he comes to me and tell, okay, in my company we don't have a mentor. I want you to be a mentor. I want to achieve this. Okay, can we discuss it? And then we discuss it. Usually I have kind of kickoff meeting when we have some question, discussion, and so on, so on.
Okay, thank you. So we have finally one question from Kate.
Mm-hmm.
She's asking, any good literature suggestions for QA? What you can recommend?
Okay.
You have a slide about books, so what
Yeah,
we should read?
for sure. For sure. Depending on your experience, I would suggest, first of all, it's all literature about certification and ISTQB. So all these books, all these, I don't know, glossaries and syllabus, all these books need to be read because it's about the same language in all, I don't know, in all IT. So I think it's the first. Second, Brex Black. Okay, all and a lot of, it's not about literature. It's about authors. It's about where you can get. I mean, you can read Michael Bolton in Twitter. He has really impressive and good things to learn from. The second,
I think Kate has Michael Bolton as a mentor. Am I right, Kate?
Yes, you're right.
okay, I didn't.
Nice. Artem.
Okay, Good literature for you, it's more read about the business. You know how to test. Now you need to learn more about business. I think when you learn about the business, then you will become more professional QA. I think it's important.
Okay, cool. We have one more question from Artur. Can bad QA be a good mentor? And vice versa. Can a good senior QA be a really bad mentor?
Okay, yes. It is similar as for football. Can be a good good coach.
You mean football player?
Yeah, football player. Football player, yeah. I think it's answer no. But the bad football player can be a good coach. Being a mentor, but you need to understand that it's not about like this, you're bad QA. Mentoring, it's a sharing of experience. If you don't have such experience, you have nothing to share. But for the second part, good senior QA can be a really bad mentor because of his soft skill, understanding of people, that like he can't communicate properly, he can't, you know, like he's just introvert, he doesn't want to meet people around him and so on and so on.
One more question from Artur. How to understand that your mentor is a bad mentor? Any checklist for good mentor?
Okay, how I understand that your mentor is bad mentor?
I think this question is just like you go to the doctor, you go to the therapist, you know, you want to understand, do you meet professional mentor or is just a person who pretends to be a mentor?
It's really a tough question because here is no clear answer to it. You can't understand before you met him and work with him. And I think the one point is lack of feedback. So if you don't have any feedback like good or bad from your mentor, is bad mentor.
Kate is adding the comment, you wouldn't want to have second session with bad mentor. And totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Any other questions? Once again, just unmute yourself and ask. We are here to discuss, just to have a little bit fun.
Hello.
Actually, yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. I have one question. So
Sure.
it is about the first bad advice for testers. It was one project I worked for when like this was kind of the team rule. We do not create issues in the Jira unless we're going to fix these issues or like developers agreed with these issues. So I'm looking for any kind of proofs or references I can use or I could use to like change opinion of my leaders on the project to like change this rule. Any suggestions regarding this? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the question, Max.
Thank you for a question. Yes, really good question. And here's no easy answer, but start from this point. How many issues repeat? So you found an issue, you fix it, then you found this issue again in, I don't know, in 1-2 sprint and so on. And this is the first question. Second question, how you understand, I don't know, the quality of code creation. Mark Fowler a lot of wrote about the clean code.
Martin Fowler.
Martin Fowler, yes. About the clean code and internal quality. And internal quality help you to create your feature faster, better, but you need to learn. As I told you, you need to learn from your mistake. If you don't create these reports and you don't learn from your mistakes, like there is nothing you can change. Ask question, how many issues we found? Can we make less issues in sprint or in implementing the feature and so on? How we understand that this feature, this issue that we found will never happen again. And also, if we don't create issues, how we understand that we fix it properly?
For me, it would be like a sign of not mature engineering culture. And I personally, if I can't like make some suggestions to the development team, if they don't listen me, this is the sign that I have to change my job, because you will not achieve anything if you have to fight for engineering practices.
Yeah, and also there are a bunch of different frameworks. They called test process improvement frameworks. One is called TPI Next. Also, you can refer to CMMI and how it works. They have different kind of maturity, especially in quality assurance. And when if you take TPI Next, so you will find they have different sections, and one section is bug management. And when you don't have a bug management, it means that you're not so mature. You need to have this kind of thing. So you can go with your maturity on next level, but you can refer to these frameworks.
Actually, it's an excellent suggestion. I know there is, some kind of checklist for engineering team, like Joel Spolsky checklist, that if you find a job on how it's called, Stack Overflow, there is a 12-question checklist created by Joel Spolsky, but I would say it's kind of outdated, but at least you understand, does development team follow some practices and so on, and you can understand, is it valuable for you to try to have an interview with them. I'm wondering, do we have as a QA community such kind of checklist to understand, is it good company, is it a good project? Maybe you know.
I will share. I want to share one thing. Wait a second.
Sure. Arthur is asking about author of checklist, and Max is asking to write down these two frameworks that you have mentioned.
I hope you can see it on my screen. Yeah.
TPI Next, right?
Yes. So I can share the link in the chat. 1 second. So actually, yeah, I'm a big fan of this because as you can see, here.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, it's really huge. It's really huge. So it's common information how you can measure, how you need to measure all this test maturity process. And this is the file with, it's split it on key areas. This is key areas defined by the guys who create this framework, but it's, for me, it's perfect. It's because actually it's with it lays with my experience and my thoughts. And you can see there are key areas: stakeholder commitment, degree of involvement, test strategy, test organization, communication, reporting, test process management, estimation and planning, metrics, defect management, test wear management.
Max is asking what was the second one?
Second.
No, second framework.
CMMI.
Could you please
Yes, I will
post
write.
the link also?
Yeah. Maybe not link, but because I'm
just abbreviation.
Yeah, like this.
Okay.
When you follow the link, you can download these files actually created to like connected to CMMI. So there are different. I'll show you here. 1 second.
Maybe you can show on your screen.
Yeah. So here you can see, if you follow my link on the right side of the screen, you can download TPNX tool. As you can see, clusters split by CMMI. I'm always using key areas because for key areas in different companies, the key areas difference. Like, and depending on what we want to improve, where we want to improve, I'm using this. Just one list, and they split it on CMMI. It looks pretty similar, but split it on different tabs. So it's split
the
it to
difference,
CMMI levels.
The difference is based on categories.
Yeah. So this is I showing for key areas, but you can download. It looks similar, but okay. This is CMMI. As you can see, there are just 4 levels: CMMI 2, CMMI 3, 4, 5, and you just need to answer all this fulfilled now, and you can see that on which level you are, and you can see it here. I'm not usually use this, but for me it's the like one of the point to check it out how our process is going.
Basically, it's an assessment for the project, right?
Yeah. When I'm doing quality assurance audit, I'm using these TPI tools. So I'm working through this document and I can understand what they're doing, what they're not doing, how they can improve it, and so on and so on.
Arthur wrote that he asked about checklist, like I mentioned, something very basic. Imagine you don't have time to fill all these forms. Maybe, there is some kind of dual test with 10 or 20 items you can follow and understand. Is it mature project? Is it mature company? Or maybe let's come up with those questions just right now. What questions will you ask if you just start working, or basically not start working? You go to the interview and you have opportunity to ask questions about the project.
It was question for me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's discuss. Imagine you can ask 5 questions from the interviewer to understand, is it feasible for you to join the company or not?
Okay. How much money I will get? But
Imagine it's already sorted out. Okay, you just curious about the
yeah,
engineering culture.
if we are talking about engineering culture, I think first of all need to ask, not just ask straight questions, but let your interviewers just describe it by themselves, from, I don't know, from planning till the release, how they proceeded, how the project looks like.
You mean like life cycle?
Yeah. Most of it.
Okay.
Because when you ask straight questions, sometimes this is really not so important. Like, okay, guys, tell me what kind of tools are you using in CI/CD? Okay, they answer you GitLab CI. What you will get from it? Okay, they are using GitLab CI. How they using? Why they are using it? No answers. So I think here's the main reason. Ask them open questions, like when they describe something, like describe the process, and ask them how QA involved in this process, what we are doing as QA. Maybe you can ask about, if you take this TPI next tool, you can ask just, okay, how you proceed with defect management? Do you have test strategy? Who is created? Who is responsible? How it proceeds in the company? Do you have any kind of planning? How you plan your activities? For example, simple questions. Maybe you can ask questions, what is more important for you? I don't know. For different person, it's different. I mean, for me, it's different to whom I will report.
Yeah, I also posted the link to Pragmatic Engineer blog. He created a software engineering culture test. I just recently have read about it. So it's like Joel test, but it has three, I would say, stages. First one, clarity, autonomy, and collaboration in the team. Second one, sustainable engineering culture. And third one, career progression. So you may check the link I've posted. Also a great source. You may just read through these questions and just make them more quality and testing focused.
And if we are talking about software testing, I think one of the important questions you can ask, what kind of issue in quality do you have? In quality of your product, in quality of, I don't know, anything.
Okay, cool. So we spent 2 hours as planned, and I enjoyed the conversation we had after our second talk and the first one as well. So just want to say thank you to all of you guys who came to our meetup today.